ZTV Obwansu Bwomogusi.
Monchumurelia on ZTV mkwani bene ase entunda ya gatatu asumuruberio bwensa kya kurende asemambi yabono nigabagani baito babere bago ikirna asumuruberio bwensa kya kurende nigo turabete kubanyora asenchira yekerero umtandao ozum aturatukusangana barabu amangana mange ajuendrete ase ense yeito ya Kenya guchakira aliendrete asensi ya Kenya ntaruchinga omosai murana kebasoga kubwatwa tukara ensemo yende tukaranga tukara muswada omujia oligeti kose umurubiri omujia bochokora Monteria as University igatia mange alturato kwanira emambi yabono tubwate asenchero mtandao ito Facebook and ZTV News Digital, YouTube and ZTV News na boyetera mtandao ito www.ztv.net ase emambi ya abono abugene ito bayero ikirana asumuruberio wensakya asengencho ensemo yabageni baito mbali kuigwa umuntu weke gusi nabayomba kwano umuntu weke gusi nigo tarato tumeka umuntu wege songo naboyigo umuntu wege swahili asigo nabotoremerelia ase emambi yabono umwanchu umurilia ondizi TV nemba SMS 0792128834 asigo umwanchu umurilia ondizi TV tobwatie gwekera ase omo erio. Good morning my friends.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, welcome to Ndizi TV this morning.
Thank you so much.
We are looking forward to have a good conversation, and by way of introduction, I want us to start from Derek. We can introduce ourselves in that order, and then we get to let our audience know more about you.
Yeah, my name is Derek Mweti Muriuki. I'm a law student at Mount Kenya University, Parkland Law Campus. I'm also a human activist and an enthusiast of the law. Thank you.
Next is Omwansa.
Abantu bami nto wakira uruchingo ngo chionsi chakusi kwa majina. My name is Omwansa, son of Omwansa Runyamira, kiongozi wa wanafunzi wote Nairobi region na pia mwanafunzi wa sheria. Thank you so much.
Karibu sana, tuje kwake Asha.
I'm Asha Mbura, student of communication.
Yes, Okoko.
My name is Felisa Sokoko. I'm a student on KU main campus in Thika. I am a human rights activist.
Asante sana kwa kuweza kufika katika kipindi hiki cha Insakia asubuhi ya leo. Ningependa tuanzie kwanza kuzungumzia yale ambayo yanayoendelea katika nchi yetu ya Kenya. Kwa ufupi, tumeweza kuona mswada kutaka kumbandua nje naibu wa rais Rigathi Gachagua ukekwa mbele ya bunge siku ya jana. Mtazamo wenu ni upi kutokana na mswada ule kuwekwa mbele ya bunge letu la Kenya? Tukianzia kwa Derek.
Mtazamo wangu ni kwamba you know, in the times that we are living in, the political goons are just portraying what we did not expect. Because when every time he talks about Usiguze Mlima, we don't get the real point as what he is saying about Usiguze Mlima. And then again, when it comes to the impeachment motion that was laid before the Bunge yesterday, we do not get the grounds on which they are accusing our deputy president to be impeached on. Whatever is being given there, they are just allegations, things without proof. And as the motion goes on, we are waiting to see what are they trying to accuse the deputy president of. Because without solid evidence, then I don't think the impeachment can continue. Thank you.
All right, let's go to Asha. As a colleague journalist, I believe you've been able to look at the sequence of events. Ukiangalia katika mtazamo wako, unaona kwamba mambo haya naibu wa rais wanampiga vita za kisiasa ama kuna makosa ambayo ameweza kuyafanya? Kwa mtazamo wako ni upi ule ambao unaweza kusema?
There's an agenda behind, and the MPs are putting across the impeachment have no exact proof of what is going there to the issue, and they should look at it from everyone's perspective and find out what exactly happened.
Yes, let's move to Okoko. You know, the deputy president has been accused of being tribal, and you know, that is a great concern because, and also they are saying that he has been a threat to national cohesion. Do you feel that is the real issue why the MPs are after him and want to impeach him?
I don't think the real issue is that the deputy president has been tribal. He has been, which is true, trying to rally all the trying to rally votes in support from central Kenya without considering every other region. But I don't think that should be the basis of an impeachment, because historically our country has been politically inclined to tribal issues, When it comes to vying for presidency or vying for every other seat, these national seats, mostly politicians try to rally tribal votes and tribal support. So I don't think it's reason enough to want to try and impeach the vice president.
Yes, let's go to Mr. Omwansa. I know you say you are a concerned citizen. As a concerned citizen, what's your take on the ongoing proceedings to impeach the deputy president? You can code switch. Ukiweza kikisi kidogo itakuwa sawa.
Njenge ndonako batawi abantu baminto bahusi nelinga shughuli ya impeach Gachagua is just playing with our minds. It is just blackmailing us as a people of the country. We have serious issues that we should focus on apart from Korusia deputy president. Korusia deputy president, look at the timings of this impeachment. It is coming at a time when this punitive government is trying to sell our country to foreigners. It's trying to put all our national treasure on notice, starting from KICC, going to JKIA, going to the Ministry of Transport, the chief scandal, the university funding model. It is coming at a time that we are having very, very pertinent issues that we should handle as a country. So for me, what I am very sure, this motion to impeach the deputy president is not going anywhere. It's not going. It might pass the parliament, it might pass the Senate, which is ceremonial, but ikifika kwa Ruto, you will see what he will do. Atakuja hapo sasa aseme, unajua mimi nimesikiliza watu wa Central na nimeona hapana, hakuna haja ya kutoa deputy president wangu, acha tufanye kazi pamoja. Yet tutakuwa waste time yote. So that is just a plan to blindfold us so that tuone kwamba tusahau yale ambayo yanaendelea huko nyuma. You see, from the abductions, from the Gen Z cries and all that. So I think, according to me, my view is that hii ni karata ya kutupanga sisi kama wa Kenya as laymen, so that we don't see what is happening. But it will not see the light of the day. That's what I am very sure. By the time the president will sign it, that now he has been impeached, it will really, really take time. Thank you.
Na nikirejea kwake Derrick Mwiti, tusonge mbele kwa suala lingine ambapo tuliona mwanaharakati Morara Kebaso aliweza kukamatwa siku ya Jumatatu na kuweza kufikishwa mahakamani siku ya jana. Tuliweza kuona ameweza kuwekewa mashtaka mengi. Kwa mtazamo wako, yale mashtaka yote ukiyatazama, yalikuwa mashtaka ambayo ama kukamatwa kwake kulitokana na yale mashtaka ama kulikuwa na lengo lingine ama ajenda nyingine?
Asante sana Job kwa kunihusisha katika swala hili. Tukiangalia kile ambacho kile ambacho kilifanya mwanaharakati Morara aweze kukamatwa ni kwa kuwa he is keeping the government on check. When you look at the work of Morara, what Morara has been doing before, you can see that indeed whatever is being purported of him appearing before a court and the charge sheet that was produced, tunaona ya kwamba ni mambo ambayo hayahusiani kabisa na kile ambacho amekuwa akifanya. Amekuwa keep the government on check on looking on the projects that have not been completed, and there is no way the government will always allow you to be their checks and balances, whereby wewe ndio yule mtu mzuri ambaye unaangalia kazi ambayo ataifanya, unakuja kuambia wananchi. Ukikuja kuangalia baada ya hayo mambo yote, Langat alikuja kusema ya kwamba mimi mwenyewe sijui yale mambo ambayo yalikuwa yanaendelea. Na tunaona ni yeye alikuwa the accuser. Was David according to the church, ilikuwa Langat. Langat mwenyewe baada ya muda ana release a press release and says that mimi sikuwa kwenye yale mambo. So kama Wakenya tunabaki na ile swali la ni Langat alikuwa accuse Morara ama ni the government of Kenya that had accused Morara. So according to me the charge sheet was vague. According to me whatever Morara was being accused of was not adequate, because when you look back to a certain interview they had with Jeff Koinange a few months ago, pale ambapo alisema Ruto alikuwa amempigia simu na yule mwongezi wa State House, you say, alisema ya kwamba yale alikuwa mambo ya uongo, na ukweli ni kuwa president alikuwa amempigia simu. Kwa hivyo tunaona ni mambo ambayo hajaanza saa hii, ni mambo ambayo wamekuwa wakimfuatilia nayo, ni mambo ambayo wamekuwa wakimkanya, na kwa kuwa amekataa kusikia vile ambavyo hii serikali yetu ambayo ni mbaya inasema, hivyo basi ndio ikatokea na ile situation ambayo tuliona Monday. So according to me the charge sheet was vague, and also the abductions, they were not according to the law. You know, Article 47 talks about the government dispensing its power on abduction. How should it be done? It should be lawful. How should it be done? It should be given with a notice. Why are you arresting me? And we can see after Morara alikuwa abducted, aliwekwa mahali ambapo palikuwa fiche, mahali ambapo hatukujua ni wapi. Familia yake na marafiki wake walipofuatilia, they didn't know what came by and why he was accused. Yeye alijipata tu kotini Milimani locals, and he is given a charge sheet, he is told on the day, and that is not the way to go. As Kenyans, we need to change, and that is not the way to go. Thank you so much.
Nikikuja kwako Asha Nyambura, wakati uliweza kusikia kwamba Morara Kebaso amekamatwa, wewe kama kijana ulihisi vipi? Asha?
The feeling was bad of course, and haikuwa they had to make it a criminal offense to justify abducting him, but they had no proof to back it up. They charged him with the wrong claim, just to justify that he was supposed to be arraigned in court. And what was talked about during the court proceedings was that he was charged with defamation when it was cyber harassment. So even when they are following the steps to asking someone, abduction is not the right way to go. There are steps and there are rules, but in this case, the government does not uphold those constitutional laws that they are putting. Yeah.
Tukikuja kwake Okoko, unaona vipi kukamatwa kwake na pia kukandamizwa kunampa ama what is the implication on his political career, his arrest and also his kind of abduction?
I think that there are so many things that happen behind the scenes zenye hatuoni kama wananchi wa kawaida. But then as a human rights activist, I feel like it's not good to be infringing on someone's rights, like kushika mtu without a notice, when they're arrested, people not knowing where you have been taken, because when you are in custody, we as the public or your family members and friends are supposed to know where you are, your phone call, and things like that. I think that political conflict will let a lot of unseen issues. As we address them, we seem to oversee a part of the issue. But there should be respect for human life. There should be respect for individuality. And as for Morara's political agenda, among his political aspirations, he's been doing pretty well for himself. But I don't know how sustainable the plan is. How sustainable his plan on being a political aspirant in the next election is.
When I come to Mr. Omwansa, as a Kenyan citizen, do you feel safe under this government, especially when you see fellow youth being arrested in such a way? And what can you generally comment about, I think you've been following up on Twitter, following up on TikTok, on various social media handles, and also you've interacted with various citizens. What is the public opinion concerning the arrest of Morara?
How do you feel safe in a country, where you cannot even exercise your own freedom? How do you feel safe in a country that you cannot speak out your mind? That talking about the truth now has become a criminal matter. That pointing out, criticizing the government. How do we feel safe when we see issues like what happened to Bruce in Mombasa happening in the 21st century? How do you feel safe, brother? We are not safe anymore. What happened to Israel yesterday, the missiles from Iran, it is the same thing that is happening to us here in Kenya. That we have plateless Subarus abducting us and taking us into Communicado. You saw what happened to our fellow young man from Mombasa, Bruce. I mean, who does that in the 21st century? Not even in the 21st century, but in these times that we're living. You as a whole politician, as a whole elected person, you send young chokoras, allow me to use that word with all reservation, to go and do all those heinous acts to a young man, beat him up and all that. Is it really fair? We are not safe anymore. This is a government that promised us that there will be no more bodies in Yala River. This is a government that promised us that we will not have any more abductions. But how many people? Personally, I am a victim. The last time I was here, I told you guys that I was put in Communicado for like 2 days, not knowing where I am, without phones, without any communication, not even access to my lawyer or something. So we are not safe anymore. We have seen the Bob Njagi and the two Kitengela boys who have been tortured, who are injured, and who were abducted as well, only to be brought to be dumped in a Kino. And another one, I don't know if it's in Nyeri, then that is when the former acting IG Masengeli going to court to apologize. And the court had to forgive him, honestly, after torturing our people. We have seen what happened to Kewaso yesterday. Morara, Omono Mintokorugusi, was not taken to any police station. Alizungushwa the town mzima, Nairobi mzima, the whole night. Is that the rule of law? Is that what we call constitutionalism? When the president came out and spoke the other time? So no, we are not safe anymore, young man. And it's really hurting us. It's really paining us. As a young man in this country, we are not safe anymore. It's a crime to be a young person. I can't wait to be court. Because it's a crime to be a young person in this country. Kwanza sisi wenye tuko na dreadlocks tunaonekana kama waizi, majambazi. We cannot even walk heads high in CBD anymore. But you know what? We will be there no matter what.
Tukirejea kwake Derek, nataka uzungumzie kuhusu taratibu zote zilifuatwa ambazo ni za kisheria. Kukamatwa kwake umesema kwamba kukua kwa kisheria, lakini alipowasilishwa katika mahakama uliona ile taratibu ambayo ilifuatwa ilikuwa taratibu ambayo ilikuwa mzuri, na pia unaweza zungumzia jinsi ambavyo mawakili waliweza kujitokeza kumpigania na pia kumtetea katika mahakama, na pia uamuzi wa jaji. Uliona taratibu zote za kisheria ndani ya koti zilifuata vyema ama?
Asante sana Job tena. Ukiangalia the court proceeding that was there according to a criminal procedure of which the matter that ile kitu ambayo walimuaccuse of the Cyber Crimes Act yenye ambayo imewekwa, kuna taratibu ambayo katika the CPA, the criminal procedure code, kuna yale mambo ambayo yanafaa kufuatiliwa ndio ya kwamba court proceeding iendelee na njia ambayo inafaa. Walifuatilia lakini hawakufuatilia kwa makini. Unajua kuna kufuatilia na kufuatilia kwa makini. Walifuatilia lakini mambo ambayo yalikuwa hayakufuatiliwa kwa kina. Na pale ambapo tunaona the lawyers of Morara coming up and fighting for Morara, they were indicating clearly that whatever was not looked at, kitu ya kwanza ambayo haikuangaliwa ni the real entities of the Cyber Crimes Act, ile ambayo alikuwa anasema wameviolate. The entities, what does it really constitute to be a Cyber Crime Act? What does it really constitute to be defamation? Pale ambapo Langat baadaye anakuja anasema ya kwamba mimi sikuwa nayajua haya mambo, na tayari alikuwa ametolewa na board na akaambiwa you should appear in court on a 4th of this month 2024. Pale ambapo tunaona that inch of Lagat coming and saying that mimi sikuwa nayajua haya mambo. Does it affect the ruling that will be given? Does it affect the judgment that will be given? Of course it does. Kwa kuwa who alleges must prove. Wale ambao walikuwa wamempeleka na wakasema ya kwamba he has done defamation, this man Langat. Then Langat anakuja anasema ya kwamba mimi sikuwa najua mambo kama haya ambayo alikuwa anaendelea. Ndio maana tukianza niliuliza, is it really about Morara versus Langat, or is it really again Morara versus the Republic? Na pale ambapo baada ya kuachiliwa kwake tulimuona kwenye CBD, na kuna statement ambayo alisema pale ambayo nilifurahia sana. Alisema we as Kenyans we are too broke to buy fear. Na ni kile ambacho ndugu yangu na rafiki yangu wa Mwata ameongelea. Akasema ya kwamba kuwa kijana mdogo, kuwa kijana katika nchi ya Kenya, unajihisi ni kana kwamba you're a criminal when you come to fight for your right, and you see in court the procedure is not followed, and you see in court your lawyers doing everything to fight for you, then your heart, because you know you came out for the right purpose, but because the rule of law provides that the proceedings should be followed, haikufuatiliwa. Kwa maoni yangu, mambo ambayo yalikuwa pale yalifuatiliwa lakini hayakufuatiliwa kwa kina. Asante.
Nikirejea kwake Asha Nyambura, najua wewe ni mwanahabari, unaweza kutufahamisha kwamba how has the media played a role in the public's perception about Morara, and also highlight on social media how it has played a role in the perception of the public about Morara Kebaso?
The Kenyan citizens actually come out to support Morara during his abduction. We were with him every step. We made sure that Morara was followed, and his arrest order was not followed to the constitutional law. And social media went behind him. In this century, what you say can be used. And you never know what time you said it. And we should be made familiar by the laws of the media and know what to say. Unaweza isema na wanaitaje a story behind it, not being direct. yes, the social media has been behind us. The tweets have helped us bring Morara back home.
Vema kabisa. Nikija kwake Okoko, ningependa uzungumzie kwamba baada ya kutoka katika mahakama na kuachiliwa kwa minajili ya bond, tuliona kwamba aliweza kuzungumza na vijana sehemu tofauti katika mji wa Nairobi. Lakini kisha baadaye kulikuwa na swala la kustakabisha ama la kusikitikisha, ambapo tuliona kwamba Murala aliweza kurushiwa vitoza machozi ama tear gas, na pia jinsi alivyotoroka tuliona ka video kakitokea kwamba alikuwa katika uchungu sana. What can you say about his rights after the court session? Maybe, and especially the aspect where he was tear gassed, you know, while addressing the public. Yeah.
Well, I think our freedom of expression as young people imekanyagwa sana. The country and the leader class is not used to people talking, people challenging them. They're not used to people expressing themselves as not under a political leader, but as the people of Kenya. So you get that when someone is standing up to address the nation on an impromptu thing, it's not like an arranged campaign. People have been paid to come. It is like it is threatening the power of the leadership class and the freedom of expression in a kanyagwa sana. So looking back at the riots, the Reject Finance Bill riots, tulikuwa tunaona that there were a lot of goons that were hired to make peaceful protests zikae kama an act of violence. So even right now, the reaction is to the perception that when young people come together, bad things happen. The reaction is still the same. When young people come together, bad things happen. But I think we should be allowed to protest peacefully, like tear gas. We should be allowed to express ourselves, to express our issues safely and be protected as young people and as people of Kenya.
Nikirejea kwake Umwansa, najua uliweza kuzungumzia swala hili. Unahisi kwamba wale viongozi ama tumekuwa na nyuso za kisiasa, tumekuwa na viongozi ambao tumewazoea katika kisiasa ambao wamekuwa wakiongoza. Unajua kuna mdadisi wa mambo ya kisiasa alisema kwamba wamekuwa tu wakibadilisha rangi za nguo. Unapata wakati huu wamevalia nguo nyekundu, chama chao ni nguo nyekundu, wanakuja na yellow, wanakuja na kijani kibichi, nyeusi, kala nyeusi, lakini ni wale wale. Unahisi kwamba viongozi hawa ambao tumewazoea wameweza kuogopa iki kizazi cha Gen Z, haswa kijana kama Morara ambaye ukimtazama watu wachache hata kama anaitwa Morara Kebaso wanamtambua kama Mkisii, wengi wanamuona na ile sura ya nchi yetu ya Kenya. Unaona kwamba wameweza kuogopa na kutingizwa kidogo na haswa na vuguvugu hili la Gen Z?
You can fool some people sometimes. You can fool all the people sometimes. And sometimes you can fool some people, but you never fool all the people all the time. Yes, for the longest, we have been seeing tumekuwa tukiona our politicians regroup. Like what Lee Njiru, the former State House communication officer, during Kenyatta's time, Moi's time, was telling us. These are political cousins. These people are not enemies. Today, they will be here together. Tomorrow, they will be there together. Today, they will act like enemies, but deep down, they know what they're doing. That's why I told you, you really need a third eye to see what is happening to our country, our political scope. So they fear Gen Z because this is the first time it is happening. They fear it very much. They know what we are capable to do. And we are not going to stop at anything as Gen Zs. I know they will be listening or they will be listening. What I am telling my young people from all walks in this country, let us go for our ID cards. Let us register as voters. That is our only hope That is our only solution. Let's have our voters card. For the first time ever, we are going to see, I don't know, it will be the 14th parliament or 15th, that is coming in 2027. It's going to be bigger and different. It's not going to be normal. It's not going to be obvious like what you have seen, seeing older people in parliament. We are going to see young people in parliament, and we are going to take charge of this country, one step at a time. Tutaanza kumula ndovu kwa miguu mpaka tufike mwisho. So they know very well that what we are capable of. That's why they are trying to cut us off. But we are not going to relent. We are not going to give up. Like my good brother here said, we are not going to buy fear. We are not going to be intimidated in whichever way. So we are stronger than ever, and we are going to also unite against the corrupt people in this government. We are going to unite as a young people against the perpetrators. We are going to reclaim our country from the yokes of these people who are trying to bring us down. We are going to have the third and last liberation. Liberation, we are going to liberate our country from these people, the greedy people, the angry people who are trying to take our country south. And we're not going to sit to allow. Our forefathers did their best. I don't know who Korugusiga, wakafanya wakatupigania nchi yetu tukapata haki kutoka kwa ukoloni. Sasa pia sisi kama vijana wadogo tulikuwa na wekaransanse toko rense ito ya Kenya kwa enda maate kwa enda roche. Ikatusoke tuwansi tukwa nere na abantu bami taba sai bami toko kusi pos kunyamira paka usu. Tukwa te chukura. Tukwa te chukura. Mwaka wa 2027 twakira abantu aba vijana betu chukura ageraba ndega ali bachenchi Thank you so much.
Tukirejea kwake Derrick, ningependa uzungumzie kwamba tumeona mikakati ambayo Murara Kibaso ameiweka, ameanzisha chama chake kinachoitwa Inject. Unaona mikakati yake itaweza kumstahimili hadi mwaka wa 2027 ama anafaa badilishe mikakati yake?
Asante sana Job. Ukiangalia kuna ile rally ambayo alikuwa nayo upande wa Embu baada ya wananchi kumnunulia gari ambayo anaitumia kutembea na kwenda kwenye sehemu mbalimbali, akiangalia mikakati ambayo serikali imeweka ndio iweze kumaliza projects ambazo wako nazo. Kwanza katika huo mkutano yeye mwenyewe alisema ya kwamba amekuwa na mikakati ambayo amekuwa akiiweka ndio aweze kuwa the best activist and the best person who is fighting for our rights, na ikiwa ataweza mwaka wa 2027 aweze kuwania kiti ambacho hakukisema ni kipi. Mikakati ambayo Morara amekuwa akiiweka in place, kama juzi tumeona amefungua ofisi mpya yake ya advocacy ule upande ambao aliweza kukamatiwa. Ni mikakati ambayo itamsaidia yeye kama binafsi, kama Morara kuweza kuwafikia watu wengi. Lakini naomba ya kwamba aweze improve on some few mechanisms that zitaweza kumfanya asipate tu ule upendo wa watu, lakini pia aweze kuwa strategic place mahali ambapo anaweza kuwa akipata zile funds ambazo anahitaji ndio aweze kusaidia nchi yetu ya Kenya na wananchi wetu wa Kenya. Isikuwe tu ni Morara peke yake, lakini iwe ni Morara na wananchi. Isiwe tu ni Morara peke yake na advocacy team yake, lakini ikuwe ni the real Inject. Akikuwa ni ana inject the real injection, na ya kwamba kazi ambayo anaifanya iweze kuwafikia watu wengi na iweze kuwa ikisaidia Wakenya kwa jumla. Kwa hiyo mikakati ambayo ameiweka ni mikakati ambayo ni sawa, lakini ningeomba kuwa the advisories wake na marafiki wake waweze kumsaidia on putting better strategies that will help him to be at a strategic place to help us as Kenya in general. Thank you so much.
When we come to Asha Nyambura, I want you to talk about young people. You know, Omwanza has referred to you that you are ready to cause a revolution, cause a turnaround in 2027. Can we trust you young people with power? Or, you know, power corrupts. How sure are we that power will not corrupt you? Because, you know, she's dropped, but we can get back to Omwanza. as we get her back. We apologize for that. Omwanza, can you trust you young people that you are going to really fight for our rights? You know, there's a time William Ruto was a young person. We had Mudavadi being a young person. You remember the team that Moi used, the YK team. Okay, Asha is back, so I'll let her respond to that question. Asha was asking, can we trust you young people with power? Because all the leaders that we have right now as leaders, at some point, they were young people. We had someone like Dr. William Ruto, a young person during the Moi era. He used to participate in the politics. What will be different about you young people? Can we trust you with power? Asha? Oh, your mic is not, you can unmute your mic.
Can you hear me?
Yes, now we can get you.
Yes, you can trust me with fight. The problem is when they are past leaders or the Kenyan situation, but the system has changed, and we have read the constitution of young people, and we know we can lead the situation. Yes.
All right. You can, pardon, and project your voice. We didn't get you well. Asha?
We can discuss.
You need to work on your side, your audio. We're not getting you well. So maybe we can proceed to Omwansa as you're working on your area. Maybe get to see what's the problem. Omwansa, umeweza kusikia maswali yangu. Sasa sitarudia swali hilo. Unaweza lijibu.
Yeah, better, they say better the devil you know than the angel you don't know. You've been seeing these politicians, allow me call them with a lot of reservation again, the old people. You've been seeing them as angels, people that you cannot reach out to, people that you hold them with a lot of respect and dignity, people that you really appreciate them for being our role models. But that is not the case anymore. What they are doing is contrary to what they are supposed to do. They are not upholding the constitution anymore. They are looting left, right, and center. They are building mansions. They are grabbing lands. They are having syndicates to empty the government coffers. So whether we should trust our young people with power, because these young people, they are young people who know what we are going through. It's like these old people. Allow me again, apologize for that. But again, I'm saying they are using old ways, old methods, old solutions to solve modern problems, which is totally, which can't really work. Because right now, times have changed. When you bring me, for example, the university funding model, that model by itself, it's not working. It's not fair. It doesn't uphold the Article 10 of the Constitution that talk about the principles of governance, from equity, equality, and all that. It is not fair when you tell a private university comrade that he will only be able to get a loan and not a scholarship like those students from public universities. That is very fair. That's very unfair. Sorry for that. So I think we need young people. I think we need young blood like likes of Derek here and Ashley and Felicitas. Those are the young people that we need to run this country because they know what the youth need, because the youth constitute a very, very big, larger percent of the population of this country. They know what we require. They know the solution. These people are learned, they are wise, and they have a lot of time. Why don't you make use of their brains? Why don't you integrate them in this government state agencies. But what we are doing, we are just recycling older people here and again, day in, day out. We have young people graduating from universities. Where are they going? We have the these young people from the, they're called these youths. How do you call them?
Polytechnics, vocational centers.
The what?
Vocational centers.
Sorry.
Are they vocational centers?
Yeah, but we have these youths who go to like this one we have here in Thika Road, and our Navanga was a green.
NYS.
Yeah, exactly. The National Youth Service, young people. Wao trained and they are being paid every month, and then they are given jobs after that. So why can't you do that for a lawyer who has gone to school for all those years? Why can't you do that for a doctor? Why can't you do that for a journalist? Why is it that after we have completed our studies, we have to go to look for work? Easy cases, easy state agency, where are they going to? The president is a liar, and if he's not lying, he's preparing to lie every day. He tells us that he has gone and bargained for thousands of jobs, 250,000 jobs in Germany. But again, he told us that by 27th, people will go. How many young people have gone? 27th is just like 3 days ago. How many people have gone? So, what's kutupanga? And as a young people, I tell them, the clouds are gathering and the rains will be here anytime, anytime.
Tukirejea kwake Derek Mwiti, tuliona kwamba kuna kashfa ambayo imeweza kujitokeza kuhusu kupeanwa ama katika kiwanja hiki cha Jomo Kenyatta International Airport. Tumeona kwamba kinataka kupeanwa kwa kampuni ya Adani, lakini tuliweza kuona kwamba kijana aliyeweza kufanua mambo haya alikuwa katika nchi ya France, lakini tumeona pia viongozi wa nchi yetu ya Kenya wakiongozwa na seneta wa kaunti ya Kisii Richard Onyonka akiweza kujitokeza, na pia tumeona maseneta wameweza kujitokeza na kukashifu mambo haya na pia kutoa semi zao kuhusu jambo hili. Ukiweza kutazama mambo haya inatufafanulia kwamba kuna viongozi ambao tunaweza kuamini kwa sasa hivi. Do we have some leaders we can trust?
Thank you so much, Job. The first thing I'll start with, everything that happens in Kenya, it's all political games. I'm also with the political part. Kitu ya kwanza ambayo tunaona ni kwamba huwa the Adani. Unajua watu hata Wakenya wengi hawajui Adani company ni kina nani. The Adani company is a company from India. It's based in India and it's a company that manages and runs airports na wana transport pia passengers. So ukiangalia according to their report, mwaka ambao umepita globally walikuwa wametransport over 180 million passengers globally wakitumia their Adani company now. So here comes Adani company na inakuja katika nchi yetu, na kitu cha kwanza ambacho ningependa tuguzie ni pale ambapo wanasema wataichukua JKIA kwa miaka 30. Hili ni jambo ambalo hawezi kuwa wamekuta na hili jambo wao wenyewe. Ni jambo ambalo wameweza kuhusishwa na serikali yetu. Kwa in tenors, because they are going to be given a tenor, you don't propose a tenor. A tenor is proposed to you. So pale ambapo tunaona swali ambalo umeniuliza kuhusu viongozi, ni kweli ya kwamba kuna viongozi ambao wanajificha na kuna viongozi ambao wanafanya mambo behind our backs. Because when we see a place like Jomo Kenyatta International Airport being given for a tenor for 30 years, and what they are talking about is renovation, creating of new runways, Adani coming up with a proposed site city, like the case we had for Konza City, wanataka kutengeneza site city outside JKIA. These are things that Wakenya hawaelewi, na ni mambo ambayo viongozi wetu wanafaa kule on table vizuri, watueleze, watuambie ni hivi na hivi na hivi. Kitu ambacho tunaweza kuona viongozi wetu kwa kuwa wanatuficha sana, kama vile seneta wa Kisii waliweza kujitokeza na wakaanza kupigana na hili jambo, na viongozi ambao wamekuwa kijificha, ni kwamba kitu cha kwanza the Adani crisis haikuletwa na the government. Like, it was not disclosed by the government. It was disclosed by a certain youth, like you are saying. Tumeona quote yake baada ya haya mambo yote, anasema his life is in danger, na anaogopa ya kwamba ataweza kufuatiliwa na aweze maybe kuwa abducted ama nini naweza fanyika, hajui. Anasema maisha yake yako taabani. Kwa nini? Baadhi ya viongozi wanajificha katika mambo haya, na baadhi ya viongozi ni wazuri, kama seneta wa Kisii walivyojitokeza wakaanza kupigania hili jambo. Na kitu kingine ambacho ningependa kugusia ni kwamba the Adani company, these are investors. Hawa si watu ambao wanakuja ndio wapewe kazi na Kenya. Hapana. These are investors. And when you read the PDF of the Adani proposal is about 75 pages. You don't see in any of the pages mahali ambapo the Adani company is saying the ways in which they are going to bring money in Kenya. No, they are using extortion method where they are coming to extort whatever we already have. The JKIA, kile ambacho tuko nacho ndicho ambacho wanakuja kuviatua na kuchukua na kunyakua. Hatuoni pale ambapo wanatuambia jinsi ambavyo wataweza kuiletea Kenya, nchi yetu ya Kenya, pesa na economy yetu improve, bearing in mind that they are investors. Thank you so much, Joe.
When we come to Asha Nyambura, this is not the first instance we are seeing such a thing happening. What is your perception, especially this is not the only government parastatal that wants to be auctioned or to be leased to another company? And Asha, I want you to get this question. We've seen a lot happening in the country. Do you think that Kenyans don't have the capability of managing JKIA and also enabling it to develop and also maybe cause some transformation? Unaona Wakenya tumeshindwa kabisa hadi tukapeana Adani, ama kuna kitu hapa tunafichwa? Asha?
I believe not just and if they are investors, it should be beneficial.
Asha, it seems you have a network issue. Umehang. Asha, you've hanged. Maybe you can work on your network issue. Let's go to Omwansa. You know, Omwansa, unaona kwamba Wakenya tumeshindwa kabisa hadi tukapeana kwa kampuni nyingine tusaidie?
Asha, I think these people, they are joking with us. We have Kenyans who are technocrats who can run JKIA and make it a better place or make it better. For instance, when you look at Adani, there was no fairness in the publication of or in the bidding process, because when you call for help, for example, you need help. It's allowed in the laws that you can hire a company or an individual who has capability to run and improve a state agency or a company, government company, for some time. But it was not published anywhere. It was not put on notice. These are things that have been going around behind scenes. And if it's not for Nyamwaya from France, who was the whistleblower to tell us what is happening to our JKIA, you see, we could not know. I mean, and you heard the CS talk about that it is they are on their last stages of sealing the deal. So I asked myself, all this time, who knew? When did even the public participation take place? So these things that they have been doing behind the scenes, they have been trying to. It's like selling our JKI. Because when you say that our country is going to bring foreigners from abroad to run our country, these are very deal. It is full of scandals. If you read from history, they were chased. I don't know, it's from France or where. They were chased away. They these people, they have been given a contract with the Ministry of Transport again to run the electricity, I don't know how many kilometers. Okay? They also, the same people who are doing the Adani deal are the same people who are trying to run the shift, the social health insurance, whatever. So it is very, very long. And I think we have very many people. We have very many capable companies that can run JKIA effectively or efficiently than bringing on foreigners who we don't know what is their plan about our country. Because you have that they are going to bring in new workers. So where will our employees go? We will lose a lot of jobs. We will go back to the streets again. You see, so it is very unfair. It is called for, and I think as young people, one of the reasons as well we should not sit back and relax is the JKIA. I stay next to JKIA. I don't know if they will chase me away as well from my bed sitter here. If they chase me away, I sina hata fare ya kurudi nyumbani Kisii. So I'm not going to sit here and wait for them to accept me.
Tukirejea kwake Derrick Muiti, tumeona kwamba vijana ama tuliona kwamba wafanyikazi waliweza kujitokeza na kufanya maandamano kwa siku moja. Tukaona kwamba hata shughuli katika kile kiwanja cha ndege cha Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, shughuli zikiweza kusimama kwa sababu ya kuwa walikuwa na goma kuhusu, hawakuwa wameambiwa ama kuwekewa bayana kuhusu kuuzwa ama kupeanwa kwa kile kiwanja cha Jomo Kenyatta International Airport. Unaona kwamba when you look at this, do you see like the safety of the workers, I mean their jobs, are they secure when you're going to give out Adani, give out JKI to Adani? What is the state of maybe the safety of the jobs of those Kenyans who are working there?
Thank you, Job. Kitu cha kwanza ambacho ningegusia ni kwamba the powers that are going to be vested upon Adani, ikiwa Adani itapatiwa JKIA. Kitu cha kwanza ukiangalia kwenye ile PDF of their proposed agenda was that wapewe the full control and the full authority of a JKIA, including hiring and firing of the workers there and of the staff. Ikiwa hili jambo litafanyika, the safety of the jobs of those working there is not guaranteed, because kitu cha kwanza there will be a lot of changes that will be occurring there ambazo kama vile ambavyo unajua Kenyans we are so refractive to change. Tunabadilika lakini hatunanga ile rampant change. Hatubadilikangi kwa mbio ambayo wana expect tubadilike nayo. Yes, it is possible. Yes, maybe Adani might come and improve whatever we are having at JKIA. But are we ready for that change? Are we prepared for that change? Are the staffs who are working there ready to work with new people who they don't know, new authorities, people who will come with their own way of doing things? And looking onto the safety of their jobs also, we have another proposal that they had, that in case of conflict in JKIA, maybe with staff, maybe with aircrafts, maybe with anything, they were proposing that they are not going to use the Kenyan laws. They are going to be using international jurisdictions. And we come back to the question of, as our Kenyan courts, the courts that we have in Kenya, from the subordinate courts to the superior courts, from the lower court to the Supreme Court of Kenya, have we really lost that touch that we cannot solve crises to do with airports? Have we really lost that touch in such a way that hatuwezi fanya mambo ambayo yataweza kusaidia Kenya katika mikakati ya kuweza kufanya kuwa airports zetu ziko mzuri? Ni pale ambapo tunaweza kuona if they bring up whatever they are trying to say, that they are going to be using other authorities to solve the conflicts within the airport, then what if those authorities crisscross with our Kenyan constitution? What if those laws that they are going to use do not fall like the way the Kenyan constitution aligns that we should solve disputes? Then are we going to back off and give Adani JKIA kabisa, tutawachilia kabisa, ama ni nini ambayo itafanyika? So the safety of the jobs of those in JKIA is not guaranteed, because we don't know how they are going to be solving their disputes with their employees. Again, we don't know if they are going to change the salaries with the employees. Again, when this thing has been done, we can be least assured that definitely the prices of everything will shoot. Around JKIA, my brother Omwansa lives there, we can be assured that the rent will increase. We can also be assured that if he wants to get to Mombasa, if he wants to get an international flight ticket, can be assured that hizo tickets zitaweza kupanda bei. Na pia the model that they are going to employ a new so if it's going to them as the Kenya Airport Authority have been using, we don't know if it's going to abide with that. So the safety of the jobs of the staffs.
It seems, Derek, you have an issue on your side. Mwanza unanipata? Mwanchu murelia ondizi TV abuno turabe tokogenda ase umutimoko omoke korende ntobe chokuira na asekretari getambe tobe tokoenda gusanga nabageni baito tobasa usukato basa konyegera.
Ndizi TV obwansu bw'omugusi. Ayumuremyi giata kurworo gonkorwo gusi nikisemo chiyetanaine wono nankakinde yonsi tarira eduka ya Enokem Agrovet Limited nikinsagia chaye bwenyorera mariogo yugusyalire bimeri mugondo amoyo chimbusuro endagira yetugo embego yetugo amariogo yugo itekenyambi mugondo chi supplement chetugo ebichuchu byogotuga na yandamange naobare imiyumu chobusongo ansamangacho Akenyoro Farmers Cooperative Plaza Angena Market Plaza Orosagironde Nigurule opposite Shell Petrol Station formerly Falcon Petrol Station Nabuigo Orosagironde Nigurule nsemo ya Jogo Angene skuru yoburuso ya Jogo Primary Nabuigo Okoba Kirisimi Iliko Manyamange Enokem Agrovet Limited Growing healthier future one harvest at a time. Ndizi TV obwansu bw'omugusi.
Mwanchu murelia ondizi TV to sabu kwa birwa asengencho kuburukana kwa mariogina boigo ase engencho yengana abakoni kukolene ngatobe to kumulikira na kwene kinga ntobe to kusanga naye asenchira jabene. Tumeweza kuzungumza mengi lakini najua kwamba wengine wenu ni vijana na pia labda ni wanafunzi. Ningependa tuzungumzie kuhusu mtaala mpya ama muundo mpya wa kufadhili vyuo vikuu unaoitwa new funding model. Tukianzia kwake Omwanza, you know, we saw the university students having town hall meetings with the president, and he listened to them. And do you think that the president of the government has addressed your concerns as pertaining to the new university funding model?
He has not done anything, Your Honor. The president, I told you the president is a liar, and I'm not ashamed to say that. I'm not saying this, I'm saying this without fear or favor. When you come and tell us that, actually, the other idea so that I want to buy because I want to by the way. Because I want to see a bank sana, how they are supposed to even apply for these loans. As we speak, I am checking with the head of communication, HELB, director of communication, and I'm trying to even reach out to him. Because I got a room, I make a band to Fauci, I make a band 5, I make a band 4, but in real sense, I went to come here. I want to do I make a band 1. But I into a band to try and get to the words, because you cannot tell me that you can value. Most of us, we are having informal ways of getting resources. You cannot say, my network, I don't have any network. You cannot tell my mother, because she doesn't have a land in her name, she doesn't have a car, she doesn't earn every month, she doesn't get anything. So how can you tell such a person that I'm going to come here band 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 because of her earnings? It's very unfair. But like I said, the university funding model, it really it discriminates students in private universities. That ukienda university, private university, kama sisi tuko private universities, wanaona kwamba tuko na pesa, which is very, very wrong. Because some of us, we go to those universities because they offer quality services like academics. Like you go to MKU, where infinite possibilities are unlocked. So some of us will go to those universities because we like them, because those are our dream campuses, and because they offer what we need. So when you say that I cannot go to a private university because I'm rich, it's very, very, very wrong. So according to me, the university funding model was not really meant for the poor people, was not meant for the bottom people, but was meant for the people at the top. And it is going to really affect us as a young people and a young generation. And you know that knowledge and academic or education is the equalizer of everything. I can one so mete ko kusiga una kusiga something like that. I don't know the thing of whatever. So, what is the president doing about that? He came and lied to us that in Nyamira Kuchia University. Do you think that university can be opened after So it is very, very wrong. It is wrong to lie to us. What we wanted as a young people. You see, wakati ulienda pale KSG tukamkataza, tukaenda mkutano zake town hall meeting tukamkataza. What did he do? Alienda akaform committee ya student leaders, ya puppets. Hiyo committee sasa ndio ilimaliza kila kitu. Right now they cannot even speak anything. I don't know where they meet, and even if they meet, they will not represent our ideas. So I don't think he is speaking on us. And I want to remind Mr. President, we have a lot of hope in him. As somebody who has been a young person in this country, who has grown to where he is as a young man, please, it's not the fair way to do that. And we kindly ask him to go back and think about us. For a minute, think about the young people and give us what we need. We are not even asking for much. We are asking the bare minimum. At the bare minimum here, give us education, give us quality, healthy care, give us security and all that. Thank you so much.
Lakini ningependa tuweze kutazama wasikilizaji wetu na watazamaji wanasema nini. Naona Endo Radio anasema anaendelea kutufuata. Huyu ni John Kibati ndo chinga sense mwenda kutoka oyo mumanyi nyancho noli niko ndani tigaba bunge batiga machieso tigaba bakolere aba bachore tigasi batiga mangana agachagwa. Ndo chinga kuna msikilizaji mwingine, I think it's from the United States of America. Based on the sequence of the events, do you think that Morara's arrest might be a government project? Another question. I'll let tutulia sense media ya Facebook. Facebook na bange babera osasomoro video obwensa kya ase emambi ya bono ndo chinga omosoli bwegesu naenda tukubwate kurwa ase ensemo area ye county area ya Nakuru. Na pia tukiendelea kutazama katika upande huu wa Facebook, I think there was a question on what is your advice to Morara as the youth say, na maybe let me get that question very clearly. Kulikuwa na swali hapa ambalo ni ensa ke bakire ya question, what are they doing as young people to ensure that Morara Kebaso does not give up before the revolution begins? Almost everybody so na kubate Klaus Nyakez na boy Roda Ruth. In the next just 2 minutes, Derek, ningependa ujibu hiyo maswali. Do you think the sequence of events it was a government project, na pia hii swali kama vijana mnafanya nini ili kumsaidia Morara asi give up in his quest for revolution, and then you shall give your closing remarks concerning the new funding model. Derek.
Thank you so much, Jerome. So the first question that our listener asked about the sequence of events, was it a government project? Well, I take him back to the press release of Langat, where Langat said that we did not know what was really happening. And whatever Morara was being accused of defaming Daniel Langat, then he said that, you know what, these things, I'm hearing them right now from the news. And he releases a press release and says, these things, they're just allegations, and I was nowhere involved in this. And that's why we asked ourselves, is it really Morara against Langat for cyberbullying, or is it really the government against Langat for, is it really, the government against Morara, or Morara keeping the government on check? So according to me, according to the sequence of events, if it's really Langat who had filed the claim against Morara, there is the right way and the right procedure of following to arrest a person after defamation, and there is the right procedure of allegations to be followed in court after defamation. And whatever we saw on Monday, whatever we saw, the sequence of series in the abduction itself, they were not according to them. And again in court, yes, the procedures were followed, but they were not adequately followed. This shows that they were not just mere allegations, but according to me, the sequence of events truly constitutes to be a government project, because there is no way a person who really defamed someone would have been abducted and would have been arraigned in court like Morala was arraigned. On the second question, what are the steps that the youth are taking to ensure that Morara is still on game and does not get out? First of all, we can see what happened yesterday after he was released. What really happened? The youth were there, they were flooded at the Milimani law court, and they were there waiting for their kiongozi to come out. And after that, we saw them on the streets of Nairobi, around the CBD, the archives. They were there in masses of numbers. Why? This shows that they are really in support of whatever Morara is doing, and they are really in support of fighting for whatever Morara is coming up with. So I think one of the strategies that the youth are putting in place is ensuring that they keep on check. Because ingekuwa si youth ambao na family ambayo walikuwa nafuata ile gari ambayo Morara was abducted in, then we would not have known what is really happening. So the support that the youth are giving Morara itself, it's one of the strategies and one of the ways that the youth are using to help Morara achieve his political goal. And apart from the support, sometimes back when Morara was not so stable, say, used to like give him literally, we give him money, and that's why I told you about the rally at Embu, whereby he told people, you know what, if you felt like I was owning you by you giving me money to ensure that I have a car, to ensure that I have enough PA system to address our right, then you can just inbox me and I will refund you your money. And the youths were there saying, no, there is no way you can't ask. We were there supporting you. And after that, we saw what Morara really did with the money that he was given. He bought a car, he bought a PA system, and he was able to go in different parts of Kenya to ensure that the government is on check. Again, with his new office that he has launched, we have youth flooding there every day to ensure that they give him proper advice. And with his legal perception of him being a lawyer, you can be at least assured that indeed Morala knows what he's doing, and we are there to support him as youth. Omonsa can really confirm that we are not taking this off, we are not lowering our guards, we are actually putting our hammer the more. So on the last thing, John, I can comment.
Just one question before that. Derek, just
Yes.
I want to just give you a minute.
Yes.
If you had a chance of talking to President
Yes.
Dr. William Ruto in 1 minute, what could you tell him about the new funding model?
If I had a chance to tell him, I would tell him first of all to review what we had in the differentiated unit cost. That is the DUC. The DUC is what was used to fund university before the new funding model came in. And the critics that were there for the DUC was that the funding, that funding model was first of all it had disparities and it was inconsistent. What they meant by inconsistent was that this year it could be used, next year some students would not get the money, and the next year other students would get the money. And what I would really love to tell our president is the university funding model, first of all, it's based on individual entities. By individual entities or programs, I mean, whoever is doing law like Omwanza and another student who is doing a particular course, a career maybe in teaching, you cannot fund these students in the same manner. And that is the goal of the funding model, to ensure that there is equality. That's why we had the PS, the principal secretary, Beatrice, during the live in JQuat, she said that the primary and the foundation of the university funding model is to ensure that they have equality, whereby families give 20% and the government gives 80%. But Omosa touched on a critical matter whereby we as a private university students, we are viewed as to have money, and therefore we are not given as scholarships, but we are given them as loans. And I would like the president to review this in the aspect of programs, whereby each and every program is given its funding in a different way, and that is the model that is supposed to be reflected. When you look at the importance, why are they using the actual programs? Like we come and this is look come to TVET, these the colleges, you can learn that for a medical student, they will take around 7 years to complete their study. For a university student doing law, they will take around 5-6 years because of joining the Kenya School of Law. The actual reflection, when you look at the equitable funding, when you look at the STEM, when they mention the STEM, that is science-oriented courses, technology-oriented courses, engineering-oriented courses, focuses they call about the STEM. The funding STEM should be more than the fund in other entities, and therefore the president should kindly look at these new funding models to ensure that band 4 and band 5, whereby they were talking about families having 70,000 to 119,000 getting money, and where in level 5 we had families having an income of 120,000. When you look at the statistics, 45% of Kenya, that is the government statistic. Then we have 2% of Kenyans completely do not have anything to report on their income. They don't have any income. Then we have 1% going for 55,000 to around 75,000. Then we have 1% between 75,000 and 100,000. Then we have 24% between 10,000 and 25,000. Then 10% between 25,000 and 40,000, and 3% between 40,000 and 50,000. These statistics can really show us that what we really need is the level 1, level 2, and level 3 funding model. Therefore, the level 4 and level 5, it is not even applicable. It is not doable if I can use that. So, according to really go back to the drawing board and ensure that indeed whatever the funding model is intended for, that is equality and ensuring that we have quality education. And lastly, as I finish, the greatest critic that I saw on the new funding model was the job the job market mismatch, whereby they are telling us that if we give you these loans, if we give you this help, if we give you a university fund, that is UF, if we give you the incorporation of places you in a certain university and we are able to fund you from there, then after that we give you this money and you are able to pay us back. Then when you look at the 4%, then we as the youths, we as the comrades of Kenya, we are praying that that 4% is reduced to 2%. Why? Because most of us, with the job with the job mismatch after education, you can be assured around 50%, more than 50% of graduates do not have jobs. So how are they going to pay back these government loans? How are they going to pay whatever they were given by the government? That's why we advocate for scholarships, and the helps should be reduced to 2%. If they are to give us loans, we are to pay by a discount of 2% and not 4%. If they are to give us scholarship, we pray that they give us fully funded scholarship, because we've seen it before. In the era of Kibaki, we had free education. Free education in whereby the PS Beatrice.
Because of time, you can be winding up. Because of time.
University students paying 16,000, but in real sense, it's not 16,000. So I think the government should really look at the new funding model and ensure that it really serves the purpose. That is equality and ensuring quality education. Thank you so much, John.
Thank you very much for making it to this interview. I know you have spared your precious time to come and educate a fellow youth and also the common mwananchi. And I know that what you've shared this morning is going to help the policy makers, because I believe they are watching this, and also the common mwananchi to make a better decision in future. Thank you very much. Tunasema ni asante kwa kuweza kuchukua muda wenu, na siku ya mwisho kuja katika Ndizi TV. Tutazidi kualika kwa sababu nimeona mna mambo mengi ambayo yataweza kumsaidia mwananchi ili kuweza kubadilisha mienendo yake na pia kusaidia nchi yetu ya Kenya pia kusonga mbele. Asante sana. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Umuntu murelia Ndizi TV abuno turachukira mwelio abumurobere wensa kimambya bono asoko bananchi kurwasi mambya lenge entambe kirachinga kichya bono tobito kusanga amange nabagani baite mambi yabono ni maitenga kwa biro konyole kengese kemo kirukira abe konya nabo konya kurwasi kerenge kemo ika asekerengo kene kwa job maangi naba kone kinga chibiche chibo na malio gya bero kira asenchira jobo ikeranu nere Abigail Nyanchama asensemo ya Frida ntari kumweba asinge abaga gonsira ukira asinga kichaba tikuba boigo Sultan na Victor Obangi na boigo nere Gisairo ondieke aba kone kinga babere koletera mangana wetera asenchira jobo tumeki wechi kamera asigo mwantu Ndizi TV na bini kubaganiria oburele obujya Ndizi TV na bwo obwansubu muzi twara lituko ligia. Bye.
Asante sana.
Ndizi TV.